Welcome to the Never Ending Backlog podcast, your place for short reviews from a gamer with the goal of reducing his backlog. From adventures to sandboxes, join our host as we walk through a collection of unplayed treasures. Now, let's take a look at the featured game of this episode of the Never Ending Backlog.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Never Ending Backlog podcast, your place for bite-sized PC game reviews. I am your host, Zach, and today we are going to be reviewing Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Now, I know traditionally in the past I've done more indie games, or I've done smaller games. I guess Back to the Future Episode 1 is not a smaller game, but, not quite as mainstream games as the Call of Duty series. Now, however, my one rule was to reduce my backlog. It had to be any game with an hour or less. And mostly I don't play many Call of Duty games online, or I guess really any Call of Duty games on the PC as much. Mostly because I play them on consoles like the PS4, Xbox One, stuff like that. However, I do have this collection. I actually have most of the Call of Duty games on my PC. I believe I bought this one actually in physical copy, and it came with the CD key. So kind of a blast in the past there. Physical copies. Crazy. Another thing is, I'm not going to review all three parts of Call of Duty. I'm not going to review, zombies, multiplayer, and single player. Mostly because I can tell you right now, I have well more than an hour in the multiplayer mode. Because the reason I buy Call of Duty games is for the multiplayer. So I can play with my friends, play it on the couch, and all that type of good stuff. So today I'm really going to review the single player mode. I will touch base on multiplayer because my curiosity went wild and I decided to jump into it. So let's just jump on and get started. The game, not surprisingly, did not run at 5760 by 1080. It allowed me to choose 5760 by 1080. I should have changed this podcast to my trials and tribulation of dealing with triple monitor setups. Not as catchy, I guess. I promise I will not always talk about the resolution aspect issues because I'm eventually just going to give up and just do 1920 by 1080 for everything and just remove my other two monitors and or get a different rig for this reviewing service because it's just awful. Or I'll just stop complaining. No, probably not. Anyway, 5760 by 1080 did not work. The aspect ratio, everything was spread out super far, which is unfortunate. I have a hard time with Call of Duty regarding I have a VAC ban. Some of you might not know this when you get banned by a publisher and it goes onto your Steam record forever. Well, I have only one, because I don't believe in hacking or cheating. I understand the reasoning why they thought I was, but I had a file called Widescreen Fixer. I've mentioned this on previous podcasts. That basically what it does is it fixes the aspect ratio. So think of trying to put a 1920 by 1080, so a rectangle image on a super wide rectangle, and that your person's gun's super wide, really stretched out. Well, that's what the standard aspect ratio is of most games that don't support 5760 by 1080, but they still allow you to choose it, which is frustrating. Well, Widescreen Fixer basically fixes that. So now it's like, rather than so spread out, maybe they put it more towards the center of the screen, so it's a much more pleasurable kind of experience. Well, downside is when you run a file like that, it basically sees that you're modifying the game code and you're getting a bigger field of view, which I understand. I absolutely 100% understand. That's why, though, this is the big part, that's why I did not use Widescreen Fixer in multiplayer. I used it in single player, but since it connects to an online servers, it still banned me. So that's a really frustrating experience. I understand if I use it for multiplayer, that's scammy. That's why I don't use it in like StarCraft. I don't use it in any of those type of game services because it's an unfair advantage. I understand though at the same time that isn't it not an unfair advantage that somebody has a 4K monitor and can see more of the screen than a person that has a 1920 by 1080 monitor? That seems kind of unfair too. Like, why do they get to see more because they can afford a bigger monitor? So there's a lot of these different things. If you don't want me to choose 5760 by 1080, then don't have it as an option and just make it poorly optimized. That bothers me. I'm not a fan of that developer thinking process where it's like, well, they just shouldn't do that. Well, then you shouldn't present them the option where they can do that then. So, needless to say, Call of Duty series have given me a bad taste in my mouth, and therefore the resolution for this game is also terrible. That's why I did not use widescreen fixer. I just played it at 1920 by 1080 and just licked my wounds and called it good. Worked well at 1920. I had all the graphics maxed out, but then again, this game was made in 2012, and it was released on the Xbox 360 and PS3. So it's an older game. You do with it what you can there. Quality, there are a ton of cutscenes, like a ton of cutscenes. It seems like every 3 minutes there's a cutscene. It is just so frustrating in the beginning. I am not a cutscene person. I like the storyline involved in games, but I think you can tell the storyline through the game, through dialogue while playing the game. So I at least get to do something rather than just have to watch these videos or skip them entirely and miss out on like a mission briefing, which is frustrating too. The nice thing about Call of Duty is it does pick up recognizable voice actors. So I saw Michael Rooker was on there, which is awesome. It's weird because Michael Rooker has long hair and it's styled, which is really weird to see. Especially since the last decade, I've pretty much seen him bald or with short hair. I actually have over here on my wall here a Call of the Dead poster. It's like a holographic version. I think I got from like a GameStop. It's super thick, but it's got George Romero, which is why I keep it up because I just love George Romero. But Michael Rooker's on there, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Robert Englund, and Danny Trejo is on here with George Romero. So super cool zombie poster. It's probably the only zombie poster I'll ever have, but I love George Romero. Rest in peace. So Michael Rooker's in this one as well, in the storyline. Really neat. His face is the same, which looks really nice, and his voice, it's traditional Michael Rooker. You can't go wrong there. For gameplay, it's a standard Call of Duty. One thing that Call of Duty does really well is it figures out the formula that works really well to adopt to a lot of gamers, and it just keeps pumping out the same thing. And you know what? I keep buying it, so I'm not going to criticize it because I'd criticize myself. I love Call of Duty games. It's a simple game. I don't go into Call of Duty finding depth, though. Let's make that aware right now. If I want depth, I'll go into Arma. Even the Battlefield series has more depth than Call of Duty, but Call of Duty knows how to make things work. So props to them on that one. There are a few sections where I actually had to use button combos in the campaign, and I've died one time, and then I was able to figure it out. It's like, push, the left arrow, then the right arrow real quick at the right time. And it's like, well, your buttons just say push left and right. So it was kind of confusing there. It probably might have been easier on an actual controller, but that is what it is. I will say they have a huge, I like to call this the invisible shooter problem. And I guarantee you, once I explain what this problem is, you'll recognize this and you'll think of other games that have this problem. If you're in a game and you're completing the campaign, this is only for the campaign, and you spend too much time shooting non-essential NPCs and you're not progressing the storyline forward, and you hear like your teammates saying, hey, go up here, hey, get over here, hey, do this or do that. Well, rather than you completing the mission, you just keep fighting the NPCs because you think either A, you maybe miss them giving you voice cues, or you think that you need to do more, you don't know what to do, so you're just spending time fighting the NPCs. Well, you'll notice that sometimes the NPCs their attack damage will increase significantly. So you just like, I'm doing fine. And it's like, why am I dying now so rapidly? Or, you'll hide behind a rock and you'll still be getting shot for no reason. There's no one around you. So you're just dying without a reason. That's what I call the invisible NPC, where basically the game is forcing you to progress on the storyline, stop staying in one spot, and just keep moving. And this game has that so many times. I was on the beach hiding behind a rock and I was just dying and there's nothing near me, but they were shooting through the rock because, that's what it is. So invisible shooters are a pain. If you get them on you, you're probably going to die because I think they pretty much kill you to the point of restarting it, and then you keep going. And then you're like, I should have done this. So this jumps into the next part, which is I did jump online because I'm always curious about the online communities. And the reason I'm curious about the online communities is I still play Battlefield Hardline. I think it's one of... I think it's Battlefield Hardline. Yes. Oh, Never mind. I'm not thinking of Hardline. I love Hardline. Battlefield Bad Company 2 is the one I play a lot of. I love Bad Company 2. My buddies and I used to play it all the time, and I still do. Like I said, I jump into it, and there's still some servers out there. It takes forever to find games, though. So, anyway, jumped into this one. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 multiplayer, installed it. It only took like 3 minutes, which was phenomenal because, well, anyone that knows Call of Duty games, they can get up there in size. So, jumped in a game, noticed there's 112 active players. I clicked on Standard Team Deathmatch, though I do prefer hardcore nowadays. And within 3 seconds, no elaboration, like 3 seconds, I was actually in a full match, ready to go. Insanity. I was like, what? Like, I wish Battlefield and Halo figured out how to do this, or I just got really lucky at the timing, but insane. It was crazy. However, this is the big however. Once I jumped in online and there's the full match, there is a person on our team who was spinning rapidly in circles while walking around. Now, this is an odd behavior. I assume maybe he's just playing around, or the other thought in my head is, you know, I bet he's cheating. I bet he's hacking right now, and I bet he's botting to get his aimbot. Sure enough, jumped in, saw the chat channel. There's our teammates basically ridiculing this person. And needless to say, yep, he was totally aimbotting. Jumped into the tab settings to see the actual statistics of, kill to death ratio. Had 50 kills and 3 deaths. The next person up was 5 kills, 1, or 20 deaths. So, yeah, needless to say, yep, already had a hacker. I would say, maybe it's a remnant from the past time that someone just leaves going. Nope, this person had a topical president's name. It's about as political as I'm going to go in this podcast. Yeah, so it wasn't an old character by any way, shape, or form. Someone is actively hacking still. So our teammates, being the great community they are, wanted to screw this person over. So they started basically kind of corralling that person into a corner, and allowed their enemies to actually kill all of them at the same time, which I think is just funnier than heck. I think it's just amazing gaming community. So I know Call of Duty players have a history of being toxic. Props to the Battlefield. My gosh, I keep on going back to Battlefield. Black Ops 2 community, because that was hilarious to watch. Unfortunately, within a few minutes, an enemy jumped on their team who also happened to have been hacking and would shoot straight up in the air and kill me. Now, not with a rocket launcher or a grenade launcher. Nope. With a pistol, shoot straight up in the air and one-shot me, basically. And I'd watch the kill cam, and you'd see them staring at the bright blue sky and just see their kill counter go up and up and up and up and up. So, absolutely frustrating. Needless to say, jumped right off, deleted it, and I will never reinstall Call of Duty Black Ops 2 multiplayer. It does make you wonder, though, 2 things. One, why would anybody hack in Black Ops 2 anymore? Is there something to really gain? I thought maybe the Call of Duty mobile app or their website app that pulls in stats from all your games might pull into that. But is Black Ops 2 still supported in that route? That's crazy to me if it is. And maybe that's why they just want to bump up their online profile. I'm amazing. And it's well, you're not, but okay, anyway. Or, the other thing that really bothers me about this situation is, last tangent, I promise, I get back banned because I use a third-party service to fix their graphic issue with the resolution. And I get banned. But people that are actually actively banning and wrecking everybody's game don't get banned. And here's the problem with getting banned in these games. It prevents you from playing the games anymore. That bothers me. When I bought the other, I think it was Modern Warfare 2? Or no, it was Call of Duty Ghosts, which I actually thoroughly enjoyed this game. I bought the physical copy at a store, paid $50 for it because it was brand new, installed it, saw it was broken, found a website that had me the chance to fix it. I fixed it, and within 30 seconds of playing single player, got banned. So, really frustrating there. I think it's just a weird system how that works that way. But nevertheless, people are still banning. Jumping into the game economy, the best price has been $12.88. The current price is $59.99, which is insanity. I believe Steam has these Call of Duty bundles from time to time that allows you to purchase games in mass quantities, at least like the Call of Duty series in a mass bunch for a greatly reduced price. The thing that bothers me though, and this is like the Activision companies and all the groups that produce Call of Duty games, is once they build a new Call of Duty, they just actively forget about previous Call of Duty games. So they probably don't even realize it is $15 and they just don't care. And they're not worried about making any money off it because they know they're making plenty of money off the new ones. And that's frustrating. So I would definitely pass on this one. An interesting tidbit I picked up from this game is, you might not know this, but I was a firefighter for quite a few years. And your character is trying to open a door. He whips out a full-size Jaws of Life. Not actually the Jaws of Life. He actually has the spreader version, which spreads things apart, not clunches them together. That traditionally a fire department hosts on their fire trucks and hydraulic lines. Now, they do make handheld ones. We actually had a pair of handheld ones as well. They're still hydraulic. I think there is actually a battery-operated one as well, but they're not the full-size ones. They're smaller ones. This character, your character, whips it out from nowhere, has no hoses attached, and like spreads open this door. And it looks like it is definitely the larger, bulkier, heavier one. And it's amazing. So I know this is supposed to be in the future. I want to get to that future. I'm sure all of my fire department buddies would also agree, like, yeah, we need those Jaws of Life that allow us to go rogue and just go like full 360 the car with no hoses. Don't worry about kinks. Don't worry about turning on the generator. Just run it. Awesome. So crazy, fun, little interesting tidbit there. Overall, it was a fun storyline. And I can imagine it was probably awesome in 2012. I missed that bus, and it's pretty much outdated now. I don't mind the graphics and the gameplay. It's just I know there are better storylines out there, and since I know there's always a new Call of Duty, that I'm probably not missing much from playing the old Call of Duty storyline. I'm just not. There's probably nothing revolutionary where it's just like, it was the best thing in history. Probably not the case there. So Call of Duty Black Ops 2 will be uninstalled, mostly because it's 12 gigs on my hard drive. And although, it's nothing like the new Call of Duty, which is like 90 gigs now, insanity, I still have a lot of games to go, well over 1,400 games to review, and I don't have space for 12 gigs that I know I probably will never play again, and I'm clearly not going to play multiplayer anymore. So, needless to say, it'll be uninstalled. It was a good game. I'm assuming it was amazing in 2012. I'm excited to play it for an hour. It was cool to see Michael Rooker again. The Jaws of Life tidbit was funny, and yeah, overall, it was an okay experience. So, thanks for joining us on this episode of the Never Ending Backlog podcast. My next episode will be on Daikatana, which I am excited to play. I was a big fan of Duke Nukem, Doom, Quake, all those type of games. So I know this came out, I think, in a similar time frame, or it made to look like it came out in a similar time frame. I think they said it was a John Romero game, so that's exciting. Yeah, needless to say, I'm going to play that, and I'll do some reviews, and I will see you on the next episode. Thanks.